Hello, everyone. Our next session will be focusing on a couple of different things. Here we go. So, we will be figuring out how to use allocation lines to create programs for subgroups. Now, allocation lines is basically the different categories that you can allocate different funds for. Some funds have to be used for human capital or personnel. Some has to be used for hardware, software, computer technology, and you have to make sure that you allocate funds correctly if you want to create subgroups for your students. Okay? So, the song that comes to mind, or again, because this is the way that I learn, don't judge me. What comes to mind for me when I think about creating programs for our students is the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. A great album if you get the chance to take a look at it. And it talks about many different topics. Overall, it's a play on words from the miseducation of the Negro, which is really, really good. So you guys should take a read, take a look at that as well. It's a great text that analyzes the way that black children are raised in the educational system. And so it's important that we create programs for all students that meets their needs, that provides them with an educational experience that is going to propel them forward with their academic goals and aspirations. So the research question that I developed based on this presentation and based on this topic is, how do we efficiently create programs that maximize our school's budget that meets the needs of all students? So, what's really important in that statement or that question is efficiently. And what that means is we have to be very wise about how we allocate funds and how we set up programs and how it's connected to our school's mission and vision at all times. Some of the problems that administrators face is figuring out how to program or programming inefficiently. I know for myself, as a new principal, we had a person come in and create programs, and we always had to rely on someone outside of the building to create programs for our students. And that made programming very difficult for us. Now we have a staff member who does an amazing job, and we can use him on a regular basis to create programs for our students, special needs students. In most schools, there is a population of students who have IEPs that need different services, individualized services. Even the term special can in some ways be harmful. So we like to say individualized services. And it's important that we are able to identify those students and provide them with the services that they need. Same thing with E&L students. We have a large population of students coming in from different countries into our schools. And no one has figured out the best and perfect way to provide services for those students, and we're all learning. So it's important that we are using the appropriate allocation lines in order to provide services for those students. Another challenge that a lot of schools face is oversized classrooms. In New York City, I believe that the maximum amount of students that you're supposed to have in the classroom is 34. And also in terms of ratios, there's supposed to be a specific amount of E&L students, special education students, and general education students in a given classroom. And that's been a challenge for many schools. The theoretical framework that guides my thinking around creating programs for students is the collaborative planning theory. And there's different components of the collaborative planning theory that make sense in terms of creating programs for students. One is arenas of discourse. Arenas of discourse and reproduction refers to spaces where negotiations and renegotiations can take place. In order to create an environment as a school leader that is collaborative in nature, you have to provide space where folks can disagree with you. If you struggle with needing to be correct all of the time, it goes against this theory. You have to be able to negotiate, meaning that you have to change your perspective sometimes and understand someone else's perspective, and create an environment where there's equity. It's move away from a hierarchical, top-down mentality. So creating arenas of discourse. Next, there's trust. And this is a big concept. Trust for myself, in terms of building trust in my school, is making sure that everyone feels respected and valued, and also being honest about where I stand. Somebody made a great statement which says, a lack of clarity is cruelty. And for myself, building trust is about just being honest about what I see, what they see, and having the ability to have those different conversations, and moving away from titles being the main reason that a person should trust me. We've gotten away from that a long time ago. It's really important that we learn how to trust one another. Next, communication. Communicative relationships with stakeholders. Who are these stakeholders? These are your teachers, your parents, your union representatives, your DC-37 folks. You have to be able to have transparent conversations with stakeholders where they can voice their opinions and ideas, and you can value them based on their expertise. And I want to stop there for a little bit. Principals and teachers have very different lenses through which they think students should perform, or how they think students will better achieve. And the reason is because you have practitioners with children for hours on end. Then you have administrators that pop in and out for observations that aren't necessarily teaching classes. And a lot of the tension that we see is because of the miscommunication at that point. There's things happening in the classroom that would change an administrator's perspective if they were in the classroom more often with teachers, observing what's happening, not just in the form of the traditional sense of documenting everything that's happening, but just taking a look at what's taking place. And so as an administrator, you want to make sure you're in classrooms as much as you can, if for nothing else, just to show a little enthusiasm around teaching and learning. Besides doing what you're supposed to do in terms of observations, just be in the classroom and be a student, participate, show some interest, because modeling goes a long way. Next is the production of knowledge. And the production of knowledge speaks to involving everyone in the process of decision making. This is created by interactions between different parties. All forms of knowledge are used and are of value. And in terms of knowledge, there is experiential knowledge, there is knowledge based on, research and data, there's relationship knowledge, there's some people that have a lot of social capital, but there's some knowledge there. So collaborative planning theory revolves around these different four components. Next, in terms of creating programs for students, is gathering data. So as you look at your rosters, as you look at your students, you want to start gathering data about your students. You want to know what student population you have coming in, what's your registered projection, and what has happened historically. So if you're coming into the profession as a principal, there's ways that you can look at what happened in last year's program, master program, to know exactly how you should move forward. So you'll look at last year's master's program, look at how many teachers you have, students, you look at the performance of the former administrator or administrator who now moved forward as an assistant principal, and then you look for data gaps and how you can create programs to address those gaps. And we'll be talking about that in class. Next, looking at your general education population, seeing who's below level and surpassing their grade level expectations. Then looking at your special education population, EL population, and breaking down specifically what that means. Not every special education student is the same. Not every EL student is the same. So with special education, you want to be able to see who has a learning disability, who's having emotional Creating a teacher grid is a great tool that you should have in front of you at all times. And this is something that the secretary does all the time. We have an amazing secretary that takes care of a hundred different things. And your teacher grid gives you an idea of how your school is functioning and what areas you need to grow. Next, you want to figure out the cost of the programs that you want to create. How many teachers you want to hire, how many students need the services, what are their categories, how many days they're going to be working, how many weeks they're going to be working, and then creating a program for them. And that's an activity that we're going to actually do in class. In terms of creating programs in your register, you also want to know the amount of funds that you're going to be getting from the students that you have in your classroom. Here's a quick breakdown that we're going to discuss more in class regarding the weights that are attached to students, dollar for dollar. And finally, in terms of the personnel discussion, we'll be having a conversation around new power in education. The old paradigm of traditional systems of power, or the idea of power in schools, have shifted. And what I mean by that is, in the past, fear was the great motivator in many schools. Write-ups and speaking to people in a way that is just, inhumane. There's a new power structure that's emerging as school leaders, and we have to be very aware of that power